Hi everyone, I am Miss Charivi Feriol, your science teacher for Primary 6. Welcome to ACSP online class.
Okay, our first topic is about plant adaptations. Before we start, let's learn some vocabulary about plant adaptations. So the first word is adaptation. Adaptation. And here is the meaning of this word in Thai. Okay? So just remember the meaning of the word in Thai. Number 2 is survive. Survive. Number 3, structural adaptation. Structural adaptation. Number 4, behavioral adaptation. Behavioral adaptation. And number 5, physical features. Physical features. All right, let's go to number 6. Number 6 word, succulent plant. Succulent plant. Number 7, reduce water loss. Reduce water loss. Number 8, spines. Spines. And number 9, extensive roots. Extensive roots. And the last word is shallow roots. Shallow roots. All right. So, if you have a notebook, I want you to get one and open to page 1. And then you're going to write semester 1 and the subject is science. And then on the next page, write plant adaptation vocabulary and list down the words. Number 1, adaptation. Number 2, survive. Number 3, structural adaptation. Number 4, behavioral adaptation. Number 5, physical features. Number 6, succulent plant. Number 7, reduce water loss. Number 8, spines. Number 9, extensive roots. And number 10, shallow roots. And write the meaning of these words in Thai. Okay, to the opposite words, write the meaning of the words in Thai. All right, the Thai language. I showed you on the first PowerPoint. Now, before we continue, I want you to play a short game. That is word scramble. So you're going to guess the correct word. You're going to reshuffle the letters so that you can get the correct answer. Okay, let's try. I have here 5 words. Okay, so number 1. you can guess the words, it means you are very good in vocabulary. Okay, now let's begin about adaptation. So we need to describe or explain the meaning of the word adaptation first. What is adaptation? You can read with me. Adaptation is a characteristic of living organism that allow them to survive in their environment. Adaptation means characteristic of living organism that help them to survive in their environment. So those characteristics, it helps the living things to keep them alive in their habitats. Okay, in your notebook, I want you to write the definition of the word adaptation. I'm going to check your notebooks when we start coming to school, okay? So write the question, what is adaptation? And write the meaning. Adaptation is a characteristic of living organisms that allow them to survive in their environment. Okay, so here I'm going to give you an example of one living thing that have adaptations, or it has characteristics that help this plant to survive or keep it alive in its habitat. Do you know where does the cactus live? The cactus live in a desert. What kind of habitat is desert? Of course, you know that desert is very hot and dry. And what are the characteristics of this cactus that help it to survive or keep it alive in their environment or in its environment? So, number one, cactus has no leaves. Without leaves, it can help the cactus to reduce water loss. And number two, characteristic or adaptation of this cactus, it has small surface area and also to reduce water loss. And number three, this cactus has very thick stem. And that thick stem can store a lot of water so that cactus will not die in desert. Number four, cactus has spines. Okay? Cactus has no leaves, but it has spines so that animals stop eating it. All right? And number five, cactus has shallow roots. Shallow, it means only on the surface of the soil, but it has extensive roots or very long roots to search for water. It can absorb, the roots can absorb water quickly when it rains. And these are the adaptations of cactus that help it to survive in desert habitat. All right, adaptation or characteristic has two categories or two types. Number one is structural adaptation. And number two is behavioral adaptation. What is structural adaptation? Structural adaptation, it is the physical features or body parts of plants. All right? So these are the characteristics of the parts of the plants. Like for example, the plants has or have fleshy stem. The plants that have fleshy stem, this characteristic help the plant to survive in their environment. Some plants have spiny leaves. And some plants have soft stem. All right? So you see, it has soft stem. All right. And some plants have narrow leaves. And also some plants have the characteristic of long roots. These are all adaptation that describe the parts of the plants that help them to survive in their environment or habitat. Let's go to number two, the behavioral adaptation. So these are the plant's behavior. Okay, this behavior is based on its functions. Like for example, the vines of the plants can climb. We call it climbing vines. Some plants, they are bad smell. And some plants have bad taste. And of course, some plants are poisonous. All right? If the plants are poisonous, predator will not eat them. All right? These characteristics help the plants to survive in their environment. We call also these are the adaptation of those plants. All right. Do you know what are the habitats of plants? Where do plants live? Okay, I want you to write down all the habitats of the plants. So on the next page of your notebook, write down the plant habitats. I will give you about 6. Number 1, grassland habitat. Number 2, desert habitat. Number 3, rainforest habitat. And number 4, tundra habitat. Number 5, taiga habitat. And number 6, aquatic habitat. There are more habitats of plants. I just give you about 6 habitats of plants, just giving you idea, okay? So I want you to write down or list down the plant habitats in your notebook, and I'm going to check that when we meet in the class, all right? So we will end the class here. In the next period, we are going to study and learn about the habitats of plants and what are the adaptation, what are the different adaptations of characteristic of plants that help them to survive in those habitats that we have here. Okay? All right. See you next time. Bye-bye.